Bakhram Murtazaliev versus Tszyu, 12 rounds, 154-pound division. This is a title fight. Murtazaliev is the IBF champion in this division, so Tszyu could capture a belt here, which would put him in the category and getting the fights that he wants to get. Let's get into it. Let's start with their respective records. Murtazaliev, 22 wins, no losses, 16 wins by way of knockout. Tszyu, 24 wins, 1 loss, and 17 wins by way of knockout. Murtazaliev is coming off of a fight where he fought Jack Culcay. Now, many of us are familiar with Jack Culcay. He's a formidable opponent, quality opponent. He has fought quality opposition. Remember, he fought Demetrius Andrade in a tough and a close fight where he almost got the win. He fought Sergey Doryachenko, fought him tough, but he lost that fight. He beat Baras Abariu. He's just a good all-around solid fighter. But throughout the years, he has slowed down a little bit. So he was 39 years old when he fought Murtazaliev, and you could see the size difference of the two is very noticeable. Murtazaliev was much bigger than Jack Culcay, not just height-wise, but width-wise as well, too. Murtazaliev, man, he's a big size in the division. Right? He's strong. He's physical, seems very strong-willed, seems like a stubborn fighter at times. He's one of those guys where if you want to take out Murtazaliev, man, you got to knock him out because he's not going to stop coming forward and throwing his hands and letting his hands go as he's coming forward. I don't remember the odds on what that looked like on paper, but Murtazaliev probably came in as a big favorite. But in that fight, when it started, man, it was Jack Culcay who looked extremely motivated and inspired and seemed like he dialed back the hands of time for a greater portion in that fight, especially from round 2 to 9. Jack Culcay, man, he was taking the fight to the bigger man. I'm not sure Murtazaliev was ready for all of that. I don't think he was ready for that type of resistance against Jack Culcay. Jack Culcay was doing his best work when he was coming off with a front foot and ripping to the body. I don't think Murtazaliev likes those body shots, man, because when those shots landed, his whole demeanor changed. And that usually is a tell that that is really bothering a fighter. You know, boxers are like warriors, man. They're never going to want to show pain, but you can always see some of those signs and makes you say, yeah, that hurts you a little bit. Culcay took a whole lot of risk in that fight, and he got hit a lot, but Murtazaliev got hit a lot too. Murtazaliev doesn't move too much, man. He's not a slick and athletic boxer like that. He's a strong-willed, brawling type of guy, right in front of you type of guy. Not the most athletic, not the most explosive, not the most dynamic, but he can take a shot, and he's got that reach, but he's a guy that's going to keep coming forward and keep swinging and chop you down round to round and break you down. This is a guy you got to take out. Like, if you get an opportunity to take Murtazaliev off, you got to take it because he's not going to stop coming forward. Felt like Culcay had him backing up and hurt a little bit in that 9th round. But I also think after that 9th round dominance and onslaught and energy that he put forth trying to get the stoppage win, might have punched himself out, because in the 10th round and the 11th round, he kind of backed off a little bit, not as aggressive, and his punches did not have the same steam on them as it had in that 9th round and other rounds before. And when you have someone who is a little bit older and the pace is still high, and you are exhausted, your hands are going to come down a little bit lower, your punches are not going to have that same steam on them, and you're not going to keep your hands as high as you were able to in the rounds before. And Murtazaliev took full advantage of that. And that's when Murtazaliev, man, just kept imposing his size and the volume of punches and overpowered Culcay, and he was able to get the stoppage in that 11th round before that round finished. But I thought it was a valiant effort from Jack Culcay, but at 39 years old, man, his mind was willing, but the body wasn't able. His body just could not keep up the pace of the younger man of Murtazaliev. So Murtazaliev has a lot of good qualities about him to work with, and you can see why he's undefeated, man. But This is not a 39-year-old fighter, man, that he just fought in Jack Culcay. Tim Tszyu is not that guy. He's a different type of fighter. Tim Tszyu, to me, is like an old school fighter, man. He isn't afraid to go where the fight is going to go. He can fight on the inside. He can fight on the outside, but make no mistakes about it. When we're talking about the sport of boxing, Tim Tszyu is going to bring the war to his opponents every single round. I also think Tim Tszyu is better defensively than he probably doesn't get credit for. He's an excellent body puncher, right? He saw that same fight against Jack Culcay, how we saw it as well too. And Jack Culcay was having success going to Murtazaliev's body. Tim Tszyu is going to try to do the same thing. Matter of fact, not try. He's going to go to the body as quickly as he can, because to the body, even to the head, Tim Tszyu is very accurate, very precise, and the placement in his punches, he executes on a high level. What I like about Tim Tszyu, man, is he's got this I don't care type of persona. Not in a bad way, in a positive way, in the sense of he doesn't care who is the A side. He doesn't care who he's fighting, where he's fighting. He's coming to fight, point blank. Make no ifs, ands, or buts. When it's time to fight, however you want to do it, when we sign that contract, that's what we're going to do. That's what I mean by that old school mentality. He'll fight you in the backyard if that's the best place. He'll fight you in the alley if we sign a contract. And I like that, because inside of the ring, it makes you fearless. The last time we saw Tim Tszyu was in that bloody war against Sebastian Fundora. Everything changed for Tim Tszyu the moment that cut opened up. I'm not even sure how that fight even made it to the full rounds of that fight, man. That fight probably should have got stopped, because that did not look good at all. But it changed everything. And I don't know. I don't think that Tim Tszyu probably couldn't see much of the fight, right? How could you? You go back and watch that tape and blood is coming from everywhere. He was fighting with one eye open, if that. Right? And that's not to take anything away from Sebastian Fundora, because Fundora came out on top. He did what he was supposed to do, and he got the nod, and he got the win, and he became the champion. But from a fans and spectator standpoint, that fight is always going to have a little bit of asterisk to it because of what took place inside of the ring. Tim Tszyu never quit, never backed down, and I don't think his stock fell even in defeat against Fundora. I think it rose because it showed the heart and the character of who he is, not just as a fighter, but as a man. And he was still putting together some really nice shots against Fundora in that fight, despite everything. So I think Tim Tszyu has a lot to prove to himself in this fight. And when a fighter has a lot to prove and want to prove, they will be motivated. They will be inspired. They will be fighting with a bigger purpose in this fight. So I'm expecting that for Tim Tszyu. He wants to showcase why he is still a top dog in the 154-pound division. He still wants fights against the rematch against Fundora. He still wants that. He wants to fight, but there are some things that Tim Tszyu wants to do. And if he wins here, he's got a little bit more leverage, because if you want to become undisputed in this division, you got to go through me. So I think we see a highly motivated and focused and locked in Tim Tszyu. And I think that'll be a good thing, because sometimes people, when they're excited and extremely motivated, they fight with emotion. But I haven't gotten the sense that Tim Tszyu is a guy that will fight with emotion and throw out the game plan. I think the game plan will come first, and we'll see, and he will disperse the emotion when it comes. But I believe that the emotion and the motivation that he will have for this fight will definitely work in his favor. So who wins? Before I give my pick on this fight, I have something real quick to share. You know, I'm always looking to bring more light, more value, more opportunities for the community. I've been working on a few different things in recent weeks to not just grow the channel, but as I said, to continue to provide as much value as I can to each of you in our community. With that being said, I got some exciting news to share. I'm happy to announce my partnership with BetStamp and Sign Up Expert. It's a great opportunity for you to join some of the best sports books to get the best odds and new user offer. All you have to do is head over to my dedicated page at signupexpert.com/thebreakdown to explore a selection of sports books tailored to your region, each with its own unique offerings. So if you want to place a bet this weekend and on this fight and beyond, check out the link to find the best options for you in your region. Every sign up does support the channel, and it helps the channel grow and to expand and to create more opportunities, not just for me, but for our community. You know, I'm always looking out for you guys as best as I can. You can easily find the link in the description below this videos and videos moving forward. So get down there and check it out and find the best option for you. Now, let's get back to the video. Murtazaliev is not coming into this fight to lie down. I'm sure he will be the underdog, even though he is the champion in this fight, but it's a great opportunity for him. You look at his record, he's got a modest resume. Cult K is arguably the biggest win on his resume so far. But if he knocks off Tszyu, well, that puts him in another ballpark in terms of big fights and more money, and you kind of upset the apple cart, so to speak. So this is going to be a step-up fight for him, in my opinion. Now, Tszyu, he's got his own adversity he's trying to work through as well, too. He's trying to bounce back into that win column. You never know how a fighter's going to be after suffering their first loss, but I don't get the fact that this has deterred Tszyu at all. He did lose a lot of momentum coming in, right, suffering that loss to Fundora, because he was coming in undefeated, coming over, you know, getting wins over Terrell Gausha, Tony Harrison, Carlos Ocampo, Brian Mendoza. Those were some good, solid wins before losing the split decision to Sebastian Fundora, right? And to lose a split decision with everything that happened, I mean, it's kind of impressive, right? Even though he lost, he still gave a very valiant effort. So it'll be different for Tszyu if he loses this fight, because he probably won't get that rematch. Then he will get pushed down the list. He probably won't get Crawford. He won't get that rematch in those big fights. It'll be tougher for him to build back up his name bigger than what it already is. So there's a lot at stake here for him. Murtazaliev can definitely win this fight. He's strong. He's going to be the bigger man. If he can stay out of the way of those body shots, use his reach and length, and impose that physical strength that he does possess, that could work in his favor. But I like Tszyu to win this fight by stoppage. I don't see Murtazaliev escaping too much of those body shots throughout this fight. I think it'll add up over round to round. I also think that Tszyu can do more offensively than Murtazaliev can. Sometimes Murtazaliev, man, he's a little predictable to me. And if you attack Tszyu the same way, round after round after round, he is smart enough with the high IQ to figure out a way how to read you and to use that to his advantage. You have to find a way to disguise your attack against Tszyu. Otherwise, I think he's going to impose and expose you when he does figure it out. I don't know if Murtazaliev can disguise it enough. I like Tszyu to win this fight by stoppage. Probably one of those body shots that he likes to make a priority. So those are my thoughts. I would love to hear from you. How do you think this one goes? Who do you have winning? Let me know in the comment section below. So with all that being said, if you've been watching the video this long, do me a favor, like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, and we'll definitely see you next time.